Hello everyone, my name is Nataraj and I'm a faculty for UPSC Civil Service Preparation. With prelims around the corner, around 40 days, let's talk about some simple yet effective strategies that can help you increase your odds of clearing this exam. Especially those strategies that many good students tend to overlook as well. This was actually part of a class lecture for the students who had enrolled in my UPSC mentorship program. But however, we've opened this up for the rest of you as well. So without any further delay, let's get started with today's agenda.
The agenda for today to all of you is, see, first thing, how is prelims paper set? Okay, prelims is what is going to get you to the next round. I'll also discuss how I made it, okay, and how, what was my sort of journey, right? So it'll possibly give you some sort of an idea of, and this is not to say that this is the only one way path, right? But the way I cleared it is through a lot less effort than many others, right? And I will discuss, what were the kind of elements and the key strategies that I had employed. I'll talk about my strengths. I'll talk about my weakness. I'll talk about the ups and downs of my journey as well. Okay, on how I went about clearing the very first prelims that I attempted, which, and I'm 100% sure that many of you guys are going to do it. And I'll tell you what are the things that we together as a group have to do. Okay, to put it in a very, very simple manner, the answer to this thing is not going to be that study hard and you will clear. Right? And I'm sure that studying hard is almost like a qualifying remark. Okay? Study hard is an aspect that, we are not going to have to mention it to you because you know that, study hard. I mean, it is obvious, right? So we're not going to focus on that. But in that hard work also, what are the things that you need to focus and what are the things that you should not? What are the key strategies during the test? What are the things that you want to do before each test? How do you maximize the test series that you're going to take? Okay, and post the test, you're not done with the test yet. Okay, you're barely getting, let us say 30% of the effort is done. The rest of it comes after that. And what do you do after that and how do you use that? All of those kinds of things we can take a look at. Okay, right? Instead of studying, let us say 100-page notebook, you can study a small, a A4 sheet, both sides. That is a lot more likely that you will remember what you have to. If I ask you, how was your test? Okay, and thanks Tanish for the answer. How was your test? Okay, if this is a particular question, what should be your answer? Now your answer has to be based on certain parameters. Most of you in science and tech, you'll understand that, before you take a question, there are certain variables that you have to keep in mind. What are the variables that you're going to keep in mind? All of you are going to say the test was okay, or great or bad, whatever, depending upon the final score. Okay, now that is only one variable. And I'm guessing most of you understand what is this. Y equals ax1 plus bx2 plus whatever the number of variables, plus let us say a constant. That constant is probably your luck factor as well. Okay, but what is x1? Let us say this is your x1. Okay, how was your test? It was good because the number of hours you put in. x3, another variable, finished syllabus. It was good because I finished my syllabus. It was good because it gave me a chance to go back and look at previous year questions and see where exactly are the kind of topics coming from. Science and tech, most of you have studied science and tech all the way till 12th. Okay, and I mean, all of you have studied science and tech till 12th, right? And then in graduation, some of you may have taken science, some of you may have taken something else, but you've focused a lot on science and tech. Okay, now that is nothing. I have studied more science and tech than you guys have, most of you. Okay, there are people who have done PhD in science and tech, some of the fields. There are people who've spent their entire life reading science and tech. Does that mean you can go ahead and do all of that? No. But when you look at the previous year questions and the test answers, you will understand what are the areas in science and tech that they're going to test, what is sort of important. And similarly, this goes for everything, okay? Even for economics. For instance, if it's economics, somebody must have masters in economics, somebody must have a PhD in economics. Some of you may, there might be somebody who spent, a life in, business journalism. Somebody might have been, in government, in economic service, something like that. Can you do all of that? No. Where exactly? All of that you'll get from here. Okay, number of revisions. Do you understand all of these things? So when I ask you a very complicated question which seemed very easy but still you could not answer it because it was too broad a question, what was it? How was your test? Your test depends on so many different factors. Let us say the final score has not been that great. Okay, many of you message me right after the test is done, how you have done, what you have done, ask me questions and all of these things. That is great. But this is only one factor. It does not even necessarily matter so much. Okay, because in the starting, where you are today and where you are, let us say 58 days later from here, will be extremely different. It depends on what you do in those 57 days, 58 days. Okay, you can say the paper was good, okay, regardless of the final score, because you put in a lot of number of hours in studying SNT. You have taken this opportunity to finish your science and tech syllabus, whatever that may be. Okay, what is that science and tech syllabus? Maybe you have your class notes. Okay, maybe you have your monthly vision current affairs. In that there is a science and tech sort of a portion. Okay, or there is a PT 365 of vision, or you have your own current affairs classes. Whatever it is that you have decided is the syllabus. Many of you may not know what is the syllabus. Okay, you have to make all your science and tech. Okay, it might be scattered like this, but what do you have to do? You have to keep a boundary. This is what I'm going to do. And in this boundary, you will notice there are certain elements that you have to do. One thing is class notes. Okay, then there might be current affairs. Then there may be tests and test answers. And then there will be previous year questions. And then some other important topics that is not in your class, whatever it is. Some things like this, but this is it. इससे बाहर मैं नहीं जाने वाला हूँ या नहीं जाने वाली हूँ. Okay, you have to get this. Then you can say, how was your test? Was it good, bad? Okay, did you get a little lucky because you have that C portion as well? There's an important thing that you want to keep in mind. Generally, you will notice that when there is a particular test paper, you have easy questions, medium questions, and hard questions, something that most of you would already know, right? And this is something that we have mentioned multiple times. Why is this important for you to know? This is something 20% will be somewhere here. Okay, 20% will be extremely hard. Nobody is going to get it. Okay, what will be the 60%? Somewhere in the medium range. Okay, something in the medium range. Now think about this. 20% easy, medium, hard. Now this is arbitrary. This is, it can change. Each year that will change. Okay, now even this easy, medium, and hard depends on your preparation levels. But let us say that, it is easy, medium, and hard. So if you think about this, you will go to a particular test and you will notice even within these, let us say there is 8 questions here, there are 12 questions here, there is 15 questions from ecology, there is, polity 16, modern India around 10 questions. So how do you see this? So even if you have, let us say, polity 15, okay, and then you have modern around 10, modern India around 10, okay, entire history, if I talk about it, it will be around 20. Entire history, let us say 20. So if you take a look at this, the idea is that you will have, how many easy questions will be there? There'll be questions that are so simple, everybody will know. And then there will be questions that, the people who have prepared decently well, okay, have very good chance of getting all 12 of these right. And there will be those questions that nobody's going to get right. Okay, it is not even there in any book. It is out of the books or something along these lines. Okay, or it is just so difficult, or one of the options made it so difficult, something along these lines. Okay, your focus is to ensure that this, you never get it wrong. You ensure that you maximize your score here. This is theek hai, chalta hai. Okay, you may get it, you may not get it. The chances are this is a very good chance that you will not be able to solve these. However, you can be satisfied if you don't get these right, or you have no clue about this, or even if you have to leave this. But you have to be mad at yourself if you're unable to solve these. Get it? Okay, so this is an important section that I want you to focus on. Don't think that polity may I'm going to solve all 15 and modern may everything. Okay, you will be able to solve it. Okay, you will be able to solve it depending upon how it is. But the thing is, whichever topic, in all of these topics, this requires a little bit of interaction. So I'm not going to focus on this so much. But you see all of these sort of sections, all of these sections, sciences, science and tech, current affairs, all of these kinds. What does that mean? It means in all of these things, you are going to get this right. Every section. That is your primary goal. Okay, easy and medium are the ones you need to focus on. These hard ones, most of you and many of you, sometimes you may focus on questions that is like, yeah, this is a previous year question and this is how they've asked. Okay, but that might be hard. You might study everything related to that hard topic, which may or may not repeat. But you may miss out on the number of important hours that you can put in by studying those easy and medium. Is this clear? Very, very important. Okay. Once you finish a particular topic and you do 2 to 3 revisions, you will know what are definitely easy questions. Okay, what are, it's like so simple sort of questions. There will be some questions in which you don't look at it and be like, yeah, I know this. You will only know this thing once you read the question properly, that you read the solutions, the options properly. Okay, and then you might even have to think a lot and eliminate some options, and then you solve it. So that is based not only just memory. Okay, memory plus some sort of a thought behind it, an analytical sort of idea. I have some questions. I don't have too many questions today that I've pasted. I got the paper sort of late. I'll give you some example, but then you will know that, see, if you ask me, if you show me a polity paper or economics paper, I will know which are the ones that are definitely hard, because this is not something that I've seen generally being tested in previous years. This is not something that I remember seeing in like some nook and cranny of the book. Okay, maybe I might even think that this I have not even read before. Okay, it is not even there. So for instance, polity, I used to have the older edition. I don't know which edition you guys have. There was never a topic called Representation of Peoples Act 1951. Now you ask me some question from that, that is going to be hard for me. Okay, but let us say you have that chapter, or let us say there is a chapter called, so for instance, one of the easy questions that I've asked you, and many of you are going to answer this. Okay, what are the sort of motions that are you can do only in Lok Sabha and it cannot be done in Rajya Sabha? Okay, very simple question, right? Very simple question. What are the motions that are only allowed in Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha does not have power? Can somebody please tell me the answer? And somebody else tell me, where will you classify this? Easy, medium, or hard? So most of you guys know, okay? So what are they? Adjournment, uh, censure, and then no confidence, right? The reason why this is simple is that if you've revised this chapter just today, okay, and if I asked you this particular question, there is no way you will not get it. Okay, you will get it right for sure. Okay, or at least you'll know, Array, I was paper, I have it in that page, but I'm unable to remember the third one, something like this, depending upon how well you've revised. So do you understand this? If there are questions like this, it means it is easy. You have to focus on the easy and the medium ones. These are definitely doable. Do you know how many marks you need to clear this exam? Approximately around 100. That does not mean you get only 100. Okay, you have to do your best. If it is somewhere here, it is net how many questions, right? Okay, so it is around 50 questions. So it is not that difficult. Okay, so you can get, like, let's say 60 right and then a few wrong. You can get 70 right and a few wrong. You can get 80 right and a few wrong. You can get whatever it is, but net you should have around 50. Okay, so if that is the case, you can clear. So what are the easiest 50 questions? Do hard questions have more marks compared to easy questions? No, they don't. Okay, the number of hours it is going to take you to do these hard, questions that is not from your Lakshmikant, not from your Spectrum or whichever book you're following for your for your modern India, it does not necessarily matter. But these are the easiest of the questions. You have to solve these questions. If you come back home after messing up an easy question, you'll be a lot mad with yourself than if you have messed up a hard question. Okay, remember this thing, very very important. Please take this down. Okay, just and this also, just write all of these things in one A4 sheet if possible. Okay, and put it up on your study table. See, one of the things about my own prep is that what drives me? Fear. Fear drives me in everything. Fear drives me. Okay, whether it is studies, whether it is something, whether even, so for instance, even my extracurricular activities, in case we have to organize an event, the fear that it might lead to some sort of a it did not go well, or there are some problems with it, or the mic is not working. So what do I have to do? I need to ensure that there is a lot of what do you call that, rehearsals. Okay, if it is sports or something like this, I do not want to come last. Okay, if I have done well, if I have a medal or something like the previous year, the fact that I have to maintain that sort of a this thing for myself also sort of important. So generally what I do is that this itself will ensure that I put in effort. See, when I started, I was working. And I had a lot of friends who were going in this particular journey, and they were like so good, IITs, and most of them doctors. Okay, some working in Google. It's like that entire group, we were all friends before, and then they had all decided that they are going to go into UPSC journey, because obviously these guys have that feeling that we are better than everybody else, right? And there were a total of 12 of us, out of which only one person cleared. Who was that person? That person had the most fear. That is me. Okay, I did not feel like I had the ability like these guys. I did not have the memory like these guys, and worst of all, I did not have the number of hours that these guys could put in. Okay, most of them kept telling me, you have to quit your job to do this. Okay, but I had a situation where I needed money. Okay, I liked money. Okay, I like to have some good entertainment. I cannot do that without this thing. If I have to like fill gas in my car, it used to be 3,000 bucks. Where will I go for it? So that was not an option for me. So I was worried about this, but I decided that what I know, I'll do well, and I will keep revising it. My biggest strength, however, was my ability to stick to a plan. If you tell me something, let us say that 3 months from now there is a 100-meter race. I will plan it from today. I know what I'm doing today, what I'm doing here, what I'm doing here, what I'm doing here, and then finally before I get into the track. Do you understand this? Now, this is a plan that we have laid out for you. You have how many of these? You have multiple iterations of so many of these tests. You don't even have to focus. Okay, obviously you will have to make some course corrections, and this is something that I used to do as well. I even stopped comparing my scores with these guys. You know why? Because I thought, let us just try to be the best I can be. I do not want more and more fear. But I will tell you honestly, it was fear that motivated me. Now, you will all have different sort of motivations, but be aware of what is that motivation, why you're doing this. I had many ups and downs as well. In every one of my tests, in fact, the first test that I had taken, I had scored somewhere in close to 30%, not even 30%. Sorry, 30% is incorrect. I scored 30. Okay. 28, 32, something along these lines. Okay, so what is that? 15%. So 15%. And by then, to clearing this UPSC, it was not too long. Okay, I think it was around 2 months, or possibly less than that, around 45 days or something like this, with not even many leaves. I couldn't even do that. Okay, so it is definitely possible. So this is where I started. To even imagine that you can clear this thing, you will not know that today I have any chance of clearing. You will always feel that. Every time I've asked you guys, you've always said that you have this thing, because everybody has their own insecurities. I understand this. Okay, and in case even if somebody is at 15%, I'm sure that some of you are in 15%, right? It will be true. Okay, it will be true, because it is a shocker. Okay, some of you might be in 45%. It does not necessarily matter. Why does it not matter? Because it does not depend on where you are standing today. It depends on where you can stand on 27th or 28th. When is the exam? 27. Okay, okay. So do you understand this? Okay, and prelims, to be really honest, it is not that difficult. It is the easiest part of your journey. I will tell you why. Okay, 10,000 people approximately will clear this exam. I used to keep in mind 40%. Okay, so 4,000 of that, because general category, right? So you just think of it as 4,000. Now within that 4,000, you can be anywhere. Okay, you have top 4,000. I got to a point that prelims is like prelims can't take me down. Okay, because I know what I have to do. I know the strategy, what I need to focus on. Okay, what is the kind of plan that I have to stick to? You asked me about polity. Polity is a subject that I have to revise. If there is number more than infinity, I'll say that. Only then am I ready. Okay, I have to constantly keep revising. On top of that, there is a particular book. It's called Lakshmikant Ka MCQ. I don't know if you guys know. The Anthro guys know this, because I mentioned this in class as well. I have to solve that 3 times. Okay, that will make me go back and review, the nooks and crannies of that Lakshmikant book and things that I will miss out. This is my strategy for polity. If I do this thing, I know for sure that out of that 15, 16 questions that is going to be asked, which is 32 marks that is going to be asked, I will not score less than 27, 28. 27, 28. After that, how many more do I need? All I need is another 70 to clear. So do you understand this? So now I know for sure that come what may, I'll be in the top 4,000. I'll tell you how. Okay, if the question is very analytical, okay, I might be in the top 200, top 100, top 200. This is possible. In fact, my highest score has been 147 or something like this. Okay, if the paper is very factual, okay, maybe some of you guys will beat me. I might be in the top, let us say, 2000. Okay, if the question is primarily on some of my weak areas, okay, culture? What are the other factual things that you just don't remember? Or a lot of current affairs, something from here and there and all of this. Okay. Or, things like this, then maybe I'll be in the top 3,000. So depending upon the paper, I know that somewhere I will be in the top 4,000. I'm prepared for everything. If it is culture, if there are, let us say, worst case scenario, there are 25 questions on culture. I cannot take a risk. I have to study culture and go. Ancient and medieval, I have to study and go. Okay, so whatever it is, so depending upon the paper, you should have that confidence that you can do the top, you can be in the top 4,000. That is your major target, right? Okay, so take a look at this, how I've kept this. Okay, see, what do you do before the test? What do you do after the test? And what do you do during? I've kept it to the end. Okay, now these are two things, to do and not to do list. Now see, let us say that you have taken 2 tests already. Now you already know what you have done, correct? You had some sort of a plan. Some of you asked me what kind of a plan you should have. Some of you followed it to the best of your ability. Obviously, it is now going to be very easy. Every other day test is unbelievably hard. Okay, but that is something that will push you. Now take a look at this. If you're going to be studying, so before the test, what are your targets? Write down your targets. This is what I'm going to do. So let us say test number 3. So before taking test 3, what is your first target? At least keep a target of 10 hours. I am going to study 10 hours. So you guys remember, right? So you guys will not remember because most of you are new. Always keep track of the number of hours you're studying. Okay, what is this? I have this later, okay? I'll tell you how to keep track of all of these things. I'll come to this. 10 hours of studying per test. If there are, the total number of tests is what, 27, 28, 30, what is it? Can I say 30 just for whatever it is, okay? But imagine even if you've just done 10 hours, okay, the bare minimum what I've asked, how many has it been? Haven't you studied 300 hours? 300 hours for prelims, 100% you will clear, okay? Now, what are the things that you want to do? First thing, read. So next paper is, I don't know what is the next test. If it is, let us say, polity, you know what you have to read, Lakshmikant. What do you have to revise? Lakshmikant. What do you have to do after this? Look at the previous year questions. Previous year questions are so important, right? You do not want to be studying the 10 points under Representation of People's Act. What do you want to be focusing on? The important chapters. Okay, and not only important chapters, like where are the questions coming from? What are the kind of questions? What are the easy? What are the medium? What are the hard questions that are coming in polity? Where do you stand in comparison to this? Not only that, then you practice the topics that are given in previous year questions. Okay, and revise them. Go back. For instance, let us say there are a lot of questions on Schedule 5, Schedule 6, Panchayati Raj, Parliament chapter. What do? Now you have a little more focus on what you have to revise. Okay, from the previous test, and I'll tell you this will come in after the test. Okay, you will have an A4 sheet with the learnings. Okay, and how do you make this A4 sheet? I have some example. Okay, so this is one thing. Okay, I'll open it and I'll discuss it with you, and then again revise the topics that have been covered here. Now I'll tell you how this is. So for instance, SNT was a first test, SNT was a second test. You would have had to do the entire revision of your SNT topics that you have seen in your test 1. Did you understand this? Let me repeat this again. Test 1. Okay, you must have seen 30 new topics. Okay, this would have gone into your A4 sheet. Okay, because you cannot come back to these big, bulky sort of PDF files or this, printouts of, how many pages is the solutions manual? 40 pages. You cannot come back and revise these. Okay, it is now going to be possible. Even if you collapse it to just one A4 sheet, how many sheets will you have? You have at least 30 sheets. At least 30 sheets, right? So you have this. So what do you want to do before you take test 2 on the same topic? So let us say whatever topic this is, topic X. Okay, this is also topic X. What do you have to do? You have to revise the A4 sheet as well. So what are the things that you want to do before a test? 10 hours of studying minimum. Okay, that is something that you want to at least keep as a target. You not only read, you also revise the topics. If possible, if the test is at 9:30, you revise from 7 till 9. Right? Something like that. How much of it you can revise, you revise. Previous year questions will tell you exactly what to revise with a little more focus. And also ensure that the test number 1, from the test number 1, you have at least like 30 new topics in your head. And that is going to make you better at SNT. Okay, that is going to make you better at SNT. And then only you go for the test. So this is like your checklist. So you can just note this down. This will ensure that you are getting the most out of the test that you're taking. This will ensure that you're getting the most out of the test that you're taking. Just keep this as a And okay, so again, somebody has sent me the message, guys, the messages are coming direct message, send it directly to the group. Okay, Kirti, you also. Okay, so the question is previous year questions, how many years? Okay, good question. Previous year questions, go to 5 to 10 years at least. 5 years priority, maximum around 10 years. So you know what are the kind of questions that are coming there. Okay, but there are many subjects like polity and history. These are like standard questions. Okay, there is, it does not change in syllabus. Current affairs going back 3 years back is not going to be of any use to you, right? Environment also is a lot of current kind of questions. So again, you may not need that, but however, your history and your polity and your economics, if it has concepts, those kinds of things you can practice for sure. Okay, so 5 to 10 years, very good question. Thank you for that question. Okay, just put the question in the group so that everybody knows. Okay, so then you take the test. So is this clear? What do you have to do before the test? Do you know what you have to do before your test 3 of SNT or whatever is the next test? Target at least 10 hours. Okay, read whatever it is that you have read. So revise. So what are the things that you have read? So for instance, you would have read your class notes. You would have read, for the anthro people, you would have read your basic bio from the beginning. What is genetics and what is engineering, RDT, all of these things, right? You might have something else also in mind. Okay, you would have also done current affairs. Okay, like for instance, you would have done 8 months, 6 months, 12 months. So whatever it is that you have to again revise, and then previous year questions and the previous test ka A4 sheet. I hope this is very clear. This is the most important takeaway. Actually, one of the most important takeaways. I won't say it's the most important. Is this clear? 100%. Everybody has noted it down. You do this thing for every single test. Trust me, there will be no doubt about the gains that you're getting. Okay, so if this is time, okay, and this is your 58th day, okay, and this is your knowledge, confidence, whatever it is, knowledge, confidence, it is constantly going to go like this only. Okay, 100%, 100% personal guarantee. Okay, so this is what you have to do pre taking the test. Okay, now let us say what you do on the day of after the test. Okay, so this is something that you can keep mainly for the day before the test. This is the day before your test. On the day of the test, as soon as possible, guys, check your score. Okay, check your ranks. You will get, okay, there is always some sort of a healthy competition if you can maintain a competitive environment, provided nobody's cheating, right? So you will at least know where you stand. Knowing where you stand helps, but to be honest, you guys are all can I call you novice? Amateurs yet. Okay, the big competition is outside as well. Okay, so do not feel that, okay, I'm consistently in the top 5, I should be comfortable. No. Okay, you have to constantly keep striving to get better and better and better. Okay, if there is a particular number that you want to keep in mind, you can think 120 plus is your target in these tests. Okay, if you're doing 120 plus, I think you are like indecent, but that does not mean just because you scored 120 you are good. Okay, for instance, even in the tests that I have started, I've gone through a test series, and then I've always been like starting with 70s. It is always like this. Okay, in some test I might have 112. Suddenly, next thing I know is that that may not be my strength. I'll be in 78. Then what do I think? No, 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 I'm not doing. So I go back to this. Did I put in 10 hours? Did I read? Did I revise? Did I look at the previous year question? Did I actually make my A4 sheet? Did I revise that as well? No. So I then again brings me back. So then again, I might come back to 100, something like this. So it is not always going to be 120. Okay, so just this is just arbitrary, but just in case you need some sort of a target to keep in mind. Okay, read the solutions on the day of the test. So for instance, today you had SNT number 2. Okay, so what do you want? You want to ensure that you finish it off right away. Only if you look at the solutions today will you know why you went wrong in the questions that you think you knew. Did you feel like, I don't know if any of you have read the solutions, did you feel like, Arey yaar, this question, I thought I knew it, but you got it wrong? Did you feel questions like this? At least some 10 questions you will have that. Why? If it is tomorrow, you will not remember what went wrong, what was in your mind, what were you thinking, why did you eliminate, why did you decide to go with this particular option? It will not be. So read the solutions right away whenever it is fresh in your mind. Okay, and for some it might be difficult. For me also, once I'm done with the test, I'm so exhausted, I feel like I don't want to go back to this. Okay, in fact, I'm scared of checking my score. And I don't know, this is again, but fear is good, right? Fear is a big motivation. So the more you're scared, the better it is. I'm just kidding. Okay, but don't worry about this. And then immediately from your reading of solution, ensure that this is the only time you have to read those 40, 50 pages. You don't have to come back to this. If you're coming back to this, then there is problem. Okay, you cannot revise that sheet in, let's say, 2 minutes at the end. Okay, there'll be a point at which you can revise all of these sheets in 30 seconds. I'll give you an example. See, I'm not saying this is one way. Okay, this is one way. What have I done here? Generally, I keep this as my structure. Okay, and this is my structure for my anthro, for my GS, for my whatever it is. Now, this is the easiest way for me to remember the things that I did not remember. See, for instance, consultative committees. Okay, what are the kind of options? So I may have written, or let's take a smaller one. Informal consultative committee only during the session period. Estimates committee, what are the things I want to remember? Okay, no Rajya Sabha. Okay, no ministers, of course. 30 members. Okay, PR by STV. You know what is PR by STV? Proportional representation by single transferable vote. I don't have to write it because this is my notes. Okay, this is why my notes are my notes and not your notes. It is useful to me and not to you. Okay, and the leader, the ruling party. Okay, and again, from the Lok Sabha. Okay, and to report on economy and efficiency is one of the kind of the functions that they have. These are things that I don't generally remember. Okay, PAC. Okay, Public Accounts Committee, Government of India Act 1919, PR by STV. What is PR by STV? Proportional representation by leader of opposition, something. Okay, so I don't want to write everything. Only the ones that I'm not good at, or the ones that I missed out, or some things that I've gotten wrong. Does this sort of make sense? So what I generally have is I have the thing that I did not remember, or whatever the question is here. And I write whatever I need to remember here. And how do I use this? I generally try to block this with my hand. So the next time I see estimates committee, can I remember these points? Okay, can I remember these points? So my polity book, let us say I have revised it 10 times. This sheet I would have revised a minimum 100 times because it will be so easy for me to take a look at. I always start my day with revision. Okay, because by then, I feel like, oh, I'm so good. I know this estimates committee, 4 points. Most people will not be able to remember. You will not be able to remember. If I say public accounts committee, these are like the nooks and crannies, right? It is so difficult to remember, but I remember all of these things. So by the time I start itself, I have this confidence. Similarly, I shared some, yeah. If you want to see this horrible handwriting here, this is my handwriting. And this is my mother's handwriting. Okay, my own notes, I generally make it online because I cannot read my handwriting. Some of you who've been in my classes before, you know it, right? Okay, so Yokaichi asthma, lungs, okay, or see, Suva Rigpa was a question that was given in one of these questions. I did not even know what it was. So what is this? Okay, it's part of Ayush, Tibetan medicine, things like that. Okay, ecological pyramids. Okay, in ecological pyramids, there are some that are upright and there are some that are, up and down as well. Okay, upside down, sorry. So I need to make some notes of that. Ocean acidification, okay, what all happens? Okay, things like that. India is a member of something. See, do you understand this? Okay, I've not looked at these things for very long. Okay, Bharat stage 6, okay, reduces NOx and aqueous ammonia. If you had given me an option with aqueous ammonia, I would not know what it is. Okay, even if I've read this in the newspaper. I'm not going to remember it. I know this. Okay, install capacity. Okay, I will not remember all of these things, maybe for mains, but for now, I'll remember, okay, coal is around 56. Hydroelectric is around 20%. Okay, renewable is so and so, right? And then there is small hydroelectric power, which comes under small, anyway, so the point is, do you guys see this? So what I want to test myself, I'll keep it on this side. And what I need to know about that, I keep on this side. Does that sort of make sense? And this is like my entire solution for, I don't know, maybe 1 or 2 tests, possibly, okay? Multiple tests all in this. So how many times can I revise this? I can revise this, let us say, in 2 minutes, I can revise this entire thing. All I have to do is read this, look at this, try to say this loud. If I'm unable to say this, then obviously I'll have to, highlight it or something like that. Again, then I have to keep it. See, for instance, these are, I still couldn't remember. The ones that I've highlighted, I couldn't remember. So I hope this is clear. How do you take down a solution packet of 40, 50 pages? How many pages is it? Somebody sent me this. 40 pages, 38 pages. Look how much is there to read. Okay, you cannot go through this. If you think I'm going to revise this again, trust me, time illa. Time ledu. Okay, you cannot. 40 into 30 tests is how much? 1200 pages. Can you come back? Absolutely not. So the day your test is done, that you only thing that you want to do is go back, check your score, rank, all of that, okay, and then see, that'll give you some sort of a good feeling, bad feeling, whatever it is. But what is it that you have to do? You have to go back and make this, okay, so that you can revise this before your next test. You can revise this periodically, every week, every day, every before your bed, whatever it is, okay, so that all of these topics in your environment has now become part of you and your knowledge base. Okay, that's point number 2. This is one of the students who had made this. Any guesses who has made this? Everybody smiling. Everybody knows her handwriting, I guess. Did all of you make it? The ones that I had mentioned it to? Okay. Something like this. So she had made it different. The reason why I still suggest make it like this is that, you can keep your hand here and block this, and you can just try to recall this portion. Okay. So you just block this, okay, and then try to recall what it is: absorbs, incoming, outgoing radiation at all wavelengths, whatever it is that you did not know or you wanted to know. But and Sudha, I was so, in fact, I went through the Sudha. Okay, what is this? Saharias in Madhya Pradesh, Sentinelese in Andaman. These should not be things that you have to write down here. How many times have we discussed these? Okay, I was hoping that you would have gotten this question right. No, the idea is you want to write only things that you want. In fact, I'll tell you, these are not directly from a test. This is after the test. I had made some notes. Okay, now from those notes, 50% of it I already knew. So what I did is I collapsed this when I went home and made my mother write down only the points that I wanted. Does that make sense? Because at the end of the day, my thing is I want to shorten the material as much as possible. Okay, prelims, shorten it, shorten it, shorten it. Okay, mains may obviously you want to keep a lot more. Okay, mains is different, so we're not going to talk about that. Is this clear? Did you have some takeaway so far from this session? 40 pages, you're not going to be able to come back. Today itself, you ensure that you will never have to open that document again. Okay, and now do not become over enthusiastic and make notes that is, 6 pages. You may feel good, but it only makes your job harder. Take only what you don't know already. The rest of it, you try to imprint it onto your head. Okay, so I hope this is clear. So anyways, a round of applause for Sudha for her great work. So that you understand, you can make that change also. Keep it on one side, and the right side, you write down the points. Okay?
Okay, sir.
Okay. Good, good, good. I was just kidding about Saharias and Sentinelese, although I was shocked to see it. At least the ones in Anthro, you've spent a lot of time on tribes, right? You would probably know. Did all of you guys know about that question, the tribals? I hope you did. Do not forget it. Okay, and do not make mistakes in bio topic also. Okay, just because you're not revising it, use that to revise. Um, okay, I hope you did get it right, most of you. Okay, so what are the things that you want to do after the test? Please write it down. Okay, check the score, ranks, all of that. Read the solutions. It is fresh in your mind. You will be able to say not only about, you will not only be able to learn the topic, but you will try to see why you went wrong. Okay, what was it that you were going wrong with? Okay, and solutions, A4 sheet. Okay, so I've shared two of mine. Okay, and we have shared one of Sudha as well. Okay, that will be the greatest takeaway. If you do that today, then the amount of time you have to spend revising that will come down. Okay, so just please note this down. This is your checklist after the test. The toughest thing for me is to check the score, because you don't know. Sometimes you might be in this, or you might be somewhere here. You never know, right? So that is that. Okay, but it is okay. Even if you don't check the score, you still have to do this. This is more important. Okay, all right. So two things done, okay? Finally, see, study log. Okay, study log is, and I don't know how systematic you guys are. From childhood, I had this habit of maintaining a diary for a lot of things. So I've always been sort of, it has, I don't know, it just made me a lot of systematic. I think it is more from the family. Even my parents, even now, they keep jotting down things that they have. I don't know, some diary in which the things to do list or whatever it is. Okay, there is always this. I've noticed this thing with my sister as well, right? So I've had this habit. So I generally, if I'm not systematic, I get, I'm all over the place, and that fear factor will go through the roof. Okay, because I just don't feel, I get overwhelmed very easy. So being systematic will reduce that feeling of getting overwhelmed. Okay, all right. So that is what. And what do you mean by being systematic? You need to know what you have done. So for instance, if you have to take a look at test 1 of SNT, what is it that I have done in the first round? Second round cannot be something completely different. I have done, let us take Sai Kiran. Okay, Sai Kiran, 8 months of current affairs of this one. He had done the next morning. I think he told me that he's going to revise. I'm hoping that you have revised this. Okay, and then you have done something class notes. Okay, maybe no previous year questions. Next test, what do? You guys know, right? After the test, what are you supposed to do? Revise that A4 sheet. Okay, revise and then previous year questions because you could not do it. And what is the next thing? Let us say you've done it only for 3 years. So this next thing will come in the next test in case you don't. So you have a log about what is done, okay, and how many revisions are done for all of these things. It'll help you a lot. So the next time before your exam or any test, you have to study SNT, you know exactly what is it that is part of your syllabus. Okay, what is part of your syllabus are these exact same things. Okay, 3 A4 sheets. I think you'll have 3 tests, and even in the full length test, you might have some more new SNT questions. So you might have like 5, 6 papers like that. Okay, so focus on that. Okay, so keep a log. Okay, I generally keep it on my Excel. Okay, I keep it on my Excel. In fact, if okay, I'll just tell you, and keep the number of hours. Okay, keep the number of hours. I remember when I was preparing for my SATs and GRE and all of that, that time I used to be more diary guy. So in the one sheet I used to have, well, let's say quant, okay, verbal, and I would have a target, so many number of hours. So I just want to keep increasing this. Okay, now this is not number of hours. I generally have 25-minute sessions. Okay, so my strength is I cannot study for very, very long. Okay, you guys are like rock stars, but I generally have this thing. So I'll have to have this. So, 1, 2, 3, just keep a log of this. Next time you see SNT ke samne itna sab, okay, because each of these ke liye before a test, you will have this. What will happen? It is going to give you so much confidence. You'll not even think that you're a first timer or anything. You're going to think that you're basically going to think you're a rock star. So, and the next thing is what has been completed. If you don't know what has been completed, so for instance, let us say 8 months are done. So what do you want to do? You want to do the 4 months or whatever else you have planned. Okay, so 8 months ka one revision ho gaya, 4 months has to be revised twice. So you understand everything has to be systematic. Everything should have some sort of so there's got to be a structure. There's got to be a plan. This is your plan. If you don't know what is happening, it is going to be extremely difficult, right? Every week we had to keep log in our corporate office of what is being done. Okay, and whose deliverable is it? Has it been done properly? If it has not been, what are the reasons behind it? It is pending at, let us say, Satyam's end. It has not reached us. G Treasury, the client was absent, or something went wrong, technical issue. All of these things we have a log. If somebody asks me what happened, March first week, you got to know what it is. If they ask you on a particular call, let us say that one project that you're working on, what is the status? You cannot be like, actually, I've not worked on it for 2 weeks. I have to take a look at it. No, you open that file and be like, this is where it stands. Okay, this is the current. So you keep this and it will help you a lot. It'll help you a lot. Okay, so just note these things as well down. Okay, the next thing is the benefit of the test. So it gives you a schedule. Okay, the biggest hurdle is to find a schedule. Okay, to keep a structure to your preparation. And I think that is the most important thing that these tests do. In fact, when people ask me what is the benefit of a test, I say that don't even think one question will come from this particular test. People are like, nothing came from this particular question paper that I did. Who cares? Who cares? That is only 2 hours of your preparation. What have you done before that? You have done 10 hours per test, right? You have done revision. You've done, you have read, you have revised. Okay, you've made A4. You've done previous year question. You have, what else have you done? Re-revision. Okay, so revision up till like 10 rounds. Okay, and especially for these A4 sheets and all that, you would have revised like, I don't know, 50 times at least, right? So this is how much you have gained. It is not about whether the questions are going to come from your the practice tests. You do, so 30 tests, how many questions will be there? 33,000 questions. Even if it is only 10 questions, it is still a gain. And even let us say this is not 10 questions, it is 0 questions, it is still a gain. Because why? Because this is not what you're trying to think of. You are trying to add these and it gives you that structure, right? Just if you want to be a 100-meter specialist, it does not mean you have to go and run 100-meter sprint every single day. One day you have to run, uphill. Okay, one day you have to focus on speed. One day you've got to focus on strength. It is all different. And each week it has to go like this for like 16 weeks. There are like plans like this. So that is the kind of plan that we've laid out for you for the last 60 days. It gives you the most important structure. You do not, I have no doubt that you will be able to do this. Okay, you will 100% be able to do this. But structuring by yourself is what you may have trouble with. See, I mentor some other students as well for prelims. Okay, when I ask them, so what is the plan? Actually, I don't know what I'll do, but I will study something. Have you guys said this answer? I don't know what I'm going to do, but I will study something. Okay, this is the biggest problem. Okay, the second you start saying answers like this is going to be your downfall. I'm not going to write downfall. Okay, we're going to keep it Paul. Okay, let's say problemo. I hope you guys can understand my handwriting. Okay, when you say I don't know, but I will study something. If that is the case, something is completely wrong. Okay, keep this checklist and just follow this checklist like whatever it is. Okay, and 3 tests per week. Okay, it will ensure that at least 30 hours plus A4 sheets, and this entire practice is going to keep moving you week after week. So whether you know it or not, your test scores might still be stuck in, let us say, 30 to 50 to 70, whatever it is. Okay, does not necessarily matter, because for all of these things you have to go through the first test. Your first test score cannot be should not be less than this. Sorry, this test has to be more than this, and this one should be more than this, provided we are talking about the same subject. But let us say from SNT you move to let us say economy, you'll again start with this by the time you reach your 120. Do you understand? Okay, but by doing this, it'll keep you on your toes, and eventually you will notice that you will come to your 100, 120 and all of that. So, and use it. Okay, use this competitive environment, right? Use this competitive environment and try to make sure you are better. Okay, so by doing this, there is a lot to gain. Okay, by doing this, there is a lot to gain. So does it matter if no question from these 3,000 questions come? Your chances of using these tests to get better. Okay, that is it. That you're using all of these things to give a structure, a practice, a checklist, things to do, things not to do. That is what these tests are going to help you with. It will help you finish your syllabus. It will ensure that you revise your syllabus, okay, a minimum of 10 times. It is definitely going to. Okay, so that is the whole point of this. Okay, use it in that way. And that way you're going to add your 300 hours, or some of you may have like 500 hours, 400 hours, 200 hours, whatever it is your target is. Okay. See, along with this, I also want to say that this is something that I do better. You know why? Because I did not have time. When you're working, you do not want to look bad in the office, right? You cannot go and tell them that, you're doing UPSC, I need some time off. These things will not happen. Whatever is your deliverable, you're a team member, you have to fully contribute. If everybody is like putting in 10 hours, you've got to be there and do that. So what I used to do is that I used to use these evening tea, breakfast, lunch, dinner. You know what I used to do? When they used to go for tea, and tea break was sort of important, okay, because it used to give me like some 10 to 15 minutes. So what would I do? These guys will go out for chai and cigarette or whatever it is, right? I'll walk with them and then I'll just walk away. Okay, I'll just tell them, when you're leaving, just let me know. In my phone, okay, I used to have the PDF for the photos of my A4 sheets. So for instance, I used to have that national parks. If I ask you, where is Pinch National Park? Okay, so there are like 108 or something like this. I have a whole list of this. I have to know each one which state. This is thing, if I revise 10 times, I'm not going to be able to do it. I need 100 revisions for this. So every single day during my tea break, I'm going to take a look at that. Okay, I need to know where the tiger reserves are. Okay, I need to know where the wetlands are. I need to know, there are a couple of other things also. Wetlands, tiger reserve, couple of other things. For instance, highest, there are in that sheet, okay, I have these sheets, okay, highest number of tigers, leopards, okay, let us say, what else is there? Elephants, okay, and some important ones, okay. So things like this, which is the state with the highest number of tigers, which is the state with the highest number of leopards, which is the state with the highest number of elephants. So these kind of questions. Let me ask you a question. Which is the state with the highest number of lions in the wild? Okay, looks like you guys don't have to do that, because now you know, right? So lions are only present in Gir, and there is talk about trying to move them to another place, so that if some problem happens, it does not happen all in, it does not wipe out the entire population. okay, so that it does not wipe out the entire population. Number of tigers, highest number of tigers. Does anybody know this? Tigers are MP, correct? But this is generally, it depends on the year, okay? It is between your Karnataka and Madhya Pradesh. It is like 528 versus 526 or something like this. Basically, only two difference. Okay. What if I ask you leopards? Elephants? Karnataka, Assam, Kerala. Okay, so these are things that I'm now going to remember. What am I going to do? I'm going to make this in an A4 sheet and I'm going to use my tea time. Every single day tea time, I'm going to take looking at this, okay, until, I'm as confident as you guys are. How do you guys know these numbers so well? Excellent. Okay. Okay. So during breakfast, I always used to have this thing that I had my editorial and opinion op-ed, okay, from my newspaper. But you guys don't have to do that. You just try to see what is it that you want to do. Let us say current affairs along with this, lunch and dinner. So lunch, and this is something that I've shared in my class also, right? During lunch, what I generally used to do is I used to go take a sandwich and go sit in my car. Okay, it'll be in the parking lot, right? I'll not go with my colleagues and read. And that 30-minute break, my 20-minute, I'll sit in that car. Sometimes it is parked, not even in the shade. I'll sit there and read, my paper two for mains. Okay, so I used to do that every single day. I used to do that. That used to be my habit. Okay, when I'm coming home for dinner, I want to watch something or something like that. Okay, something. So basically, have this, and these are like going to help you with your revisions. And similarly, see polity and modern atlas. So I have this thing that for 30 days consecutively, I have to read at least 15 to 30 minutes. 15 to 30 minutes. 15 to 30 minutes at least. Sometimes if I'm like watching Google Maps, I can go on for hours. It might be like 3 hours. Okay, I just love it. I don't know why. I'll be in like Georgia, and from there I'll go to Armenia, and then I'll go to somewhere else. I'll just be constantly in that world. Okay, but these are things that I cannot remember. I cannot say one revision is done. I need to spend at least 15 to 30 minutes every single day. I have to look at this history and all of these things every single day. And why would I mention only these? Because this is completely factual. There is nothing new that is added, right? There is nothing new that is added. If it is in polity, if it's in Lakshmikant, I should be able to solve it. And all of these things will help you get that multiple revisions. So it's like how you guys are saying 526, 524, all of these sort of numbers. I had made this list. Okay, my list might have been a little older. Okay, but when I take a look at this, I still remember. So that is the number of times I've actually revised. Okay, so this is the most important thing. Okay, use small time windows. I used to wonder how come, like, what is my chance necessarily when there are people studying here in Ashok Nagar, in Hyderabad, okay, who are studying, these doctors and engineers and all of these crazy guys who are studying for years together, attending class, doing this full time. How on earth can I do it? It is because when you have so much time, you do not try to manage your time well. Okay, I had to do this because I did not have time. So I used to do this, and this helps a lot. So try to have something. Your evening chai ke time mein you will do something. Breakfast ke time mein you have something. Lunch ke time mein something. Dinner ke time mein something. Okay, the number of times I've looked up which national park is in which state. Okay, I don't know. It could have even been close to 1,000. I'll keep taking a look at it. I'll keep trying to guess it. Keep trying to guess it. There are some that I know that I may not understand. For instance, that clouded leopard, something is there. Snow leopard or something like that. I know it is, Tripura, sometimes Singalila. Okay. So I have to make these stories and I have to remember that story. Okay, Singham went to a particular state. Okay, so things like this is there. So okay, how I have to remember, because that is my weakness. I cannot remember so well, so I have to revise this. And I kid you not, I will not be surprised if I revise these sort of things like 1,000 times. Okay, only because every single day I go for chai, and during chai I'll take a look at it 2-3 times. See, another one that I mentioned. See, for instance, and I'm going to take only two examples. It was there in the beginning, right? That sheet, but I skipped a couple of slides. Um, See, for instance, let us say that I have 15 questions in polity. Okay, and we have 12 questions in modern. Generally, this is the number. Okay, plus or minus 2. Okay, it could be, I think sometimes it can go up to 20, sometimes it can go up to, come down to 8, something like this. Okay, but around, let us say, so how many questions is this? So my only target here is, let us say that you guys are there, or let us say some good competition. They may have read the Lakshmikant book, let us say 5 times, 10 times. They may get 11 right. Somebody is here, let us say they got it 8 right. Okay, but I told you, right? I revise these topics, or I used to revise these topics every single day. Lakshmikant has to be in my hand, okay, and I should be on my chair, bums on the chair, okay. It has to happen every single day. So I will get at least some, let us say, 3 more questions, and let us say from here, 2 questions more. What has necessarily happened? Good students with 11 and 8, okay. Somebody, only these 2 topics I can, maybe beat them in this level. What has necessarily happened? How many questions did I get here? 3. How many questions did I get here? Let us say 2. And this is something that I'm telling all of you, okay? This is where you have to be targeting. So how many questions is 5 marks? If you got 5 questions, how many marks is this? How many marks have you differentiate, helped you differentiate from the next topper? Guys, basic math. So net, it is 13.7 marks. Can you believe this? If I was close to the border, now I'll probably be very close to, like forest cutoff border. Okay, and I've cleared like forest cutoff like 3-4 times. Um, so I'm telling you, it's about these small things that is going to make that differentiation. Very, very small. Can you be with Lakshmikant and get 14 right? Can you be so thorough with your source? Mine used to be Spectrum. But I've read Bipin Chandra also, but I used to revise Spectrum. So like each and every page in Spectrum, most of you guys have seen my books. Okay, there is nothing that is not read. There is nothing that is not scribbled. It is like, it is like well conquered sort of a book. Okay, if I look at that itself, I have a lot of confidence. Okay, if you give me another book, it'll be much harder. And same thing with polity. Okay, so if I can get just 3 questions here, 2 questions here, how do I do this? It is because of this. I have spent, every single day of my preparation, I have to spend a little bit of time, even if it is 10 minutes, even if it's 15 minutes, even if it is only one chapter, one table, or the notes that I have on the right-hand side at the end of the book, in the front of the book, wherever there is empty space, I'll fill it off with things that I don't remember. Okay, I can send you some pictures later. How do you solve a question? See, so this is what to do during the test. So what is done before is done. Okay, after is done. Now during the test, process of elimination. So this is process of elimination. The whole idea. Now there are many ways to solve this. The best way is process of elimination. Okay, see, generally my number of attempts are less. Okay, I think the highest number I've ever attempted is around 78 or something, 77, 78. And that is when I had a score. The paper was relatively okay. My score was around 147. Okay, but that is not big. The point was I had only 2 or 3 wrong. Something like this. Okay, and I don't think I've had an attempt in which I had more than single digit wrongs. Even when I have studied only 1 week. I quit my job. Okay, I landed in Kerala airport from Dubai. I started studying and I had exactly 1 week, but I know what is to be done, right? I know what is the thing that I have. I have to go through my A4 sheets. I have to go through my polity. I have to read those things. How to make short notes. I did not make short notes for Spectrum, but I did make short notes of some topics. Okay, I'll explain that. Okay, I'll just come back to it. I did not make. I wish I had my. I cannot show you my book. At least not right now. I'll send you some pictures of like how I used to make my short notes. You cannot. This is not the time to make so many short notes. Okay, I used to make short notes of only those things that I could not remember. For instance, who is that one lady who during her convocation ceremony she shot somebody? Beena Das. That is all I need to remember. That is because I'm unable to remember it. I'm going to write this. And to be honest, I don't think I have seen that topic for last 3 years, but I still remember it because again, those A4 sheets are things that I've revised, 1,000 times. 1,000 might be too high for this particular thing, but generally I do. Okay, which organization for what, right? Things like that. So sitting and making notes for an entire book is going to be something that you should do 1 year prior. Okay, that is not helpful. My suggestion is you take your Spectrum, just keep marking on the side. Okay, and things that you feel like, this page, this particular topic, I'm now going to remember it, write it on the right hand side, I mean towards the end of the book, in the front of the book, or just keep some A4 sheets and just jot down sort of things that you're now going to remember from each chapter. Okay, that will help you a lot better. Okay, so that is my suggestion. We can talk on that more. You just ping me in case you have any more doubts. Okay, is that helpful? Okay, good, great. See, process of elimination. Process of elimination are very important. This is something that you guys saw today. Okay. In fact, okay. So I know this particular question. So there's not process of elimination for me. Okay, because I don't know. How many of you guys got this right? See, all I know is that helium and balloons. I know this is right. Right? Helium and balloons machines. In case you had organized birthday parties, you would probably know. Krypton. Okay. Krypton and lights. Okay, krypton bulbs, light bulbs, and all of these things, ads, whatever it is we have seen. This is something maybe you have seen, maybe you've not seen, depends on how good you are handy. Okay, because if you go to a shop, electricity shop, you ask them what kind of lights and all of these. I didn't know fog lights and all. Okay, I just know that it is used for lights. Okay, bulbs. Okay, so this is correct. Xenon. In fact, I don't know anything about xenon except for the fact that it is a noble gas. Okay, I don't know a single thing about xenon. Okay, all I know is that in that periodic table towards the end, this is how your periodic table looks, something like this. I know it is somewhere here. That is it. Absolutely nothing. Anesthetic. Can you even use gas as anesthetic? Who knows? Okay, so I don't know if I can make a process of elimination here, but I know the answer is 1 and 2. But I have 1 and 2 only in one option. And only that is the only reason I'm going to attempt this. So that means this is right. Does that make sense? Your thing is to try to see which one can go wrong. Eliminate. That is the only key. Eliminate. Okay. Take a look at this particular question. Let's read this question. You may not have seen this, and I want you to all solve and put it in the group. Okay. I'll give you a total of 60 seconds. Use that process of elimination. Again, don't solve it like you generally do. Use process of elimination. Consider the following statement with respect to Harappan civilization. Okay. Early Harappan was dominated by village-based settlements. Okay. Early Harappan, village-based settlement. Late Harappan was represented by well-planned cities. Okay. Dholavira, unlike other Harappan towns, was divided into 3 parts, containing a middle town in addition to a citadel and a lower town. Okay. This is there in new NCRT, by the way. 6th class. Okay. Although, and I'm 99% sure this is correct. Okay. 1% I'm having a doubt. I know it is a coastal town from Gujarat. Okay. 99% I'm sure that it is Dholavira because I not revised these books in like 3 years, right? But could be Lothal, but I'm 100%, 99% sure it's Dholavira. A copper figure of dancing girl was found at Mohenjo-daro. Dancing girl figure from Mohenjo-daro. This is correct. Wait. Okay. So what can I do here? Do you guys know about this? Which one can we eliminate out of these 3? Which one can we eliminate? Okay. Now the question is very clear. Which one can we eliminate? So I'll tell you one thing. Okay. If you remember, we studied, I think last week we talked about Indus Valley civilization. So Harappan civilization is split into early, mature, okay, and late. Okay, and I've given you guys like the years and all of that, right? So leave that. But what is this? You may also remember the phase that was at the peak was the mature one. And later, what did we say? In the later one, you start realizing that there is a decline in the civilization. Right, there is a decline in the civilization. That planning of exactly roads like this, the drainage, all of these things, they don't last as much. In fact, they're not building, even in the middle of the homes, middle of the roads, you start seeing like people building some construction, all of this. Okay, so early phases, so it is something like this. Harappan phase started like this. Okay, agriculture starts doing really well, so rural based thing, and then eventually artisans and all of that make it an urban civilization, and slowly it comes down. Okay, over a period. Okay, 4,700 till about 1900 years ago, or 1600 years ago, something like that, right? So this is the whole thing. So now let us see early Harappan village based settlement. So that is correct. The late Harappan stage was well planned cities. Okay, so they are talking about this and this late. Okay, so actually the first part is correct, the second part is wrong, and there are many of you who have eliminated third one, a copper figure. Okay, I almost missed this. Okay, I thought it is correct, but it is not. Okay, it is bronze. This is also something that we talked about in our class just last week, right? So this is the one. So even if I don't know this, but luckily I knew this with 99% because I've read that UNCRT book. Okay, very, very simple, very easy, can be done. So things like that. Okay, so this gives me an option that this is wrong and this is wrong. So 2 only. So I'm left with nothing but this. Very simple. Okay. So that is great. Now, since most of you have Telugu as your mother tongue, I can't say most of you are Andhra people. 60 seconds. Again, what do I want? I want you to tell me, what are you going to eliminate, if you can eliminate anything? Give me this. So first give me what you're going to eliminate, comma or full stop, and then give me the answer. Elimination should be 1, 2, 3, 4. And answer should be A, B, C, D. $60 seconds. Many of you have given 3, some of you have given 3,4, and somebody said 3. Okay, so these are the only answers. Okay. In fact, I don't know how you guys know this. It is recital. Its recital is limited to Ganesh Vandana. I don't even know what is Ganesh Vandana. Okay, I don't know what that is. Okay, my knowledge about, in fact, all my sisters, my cousins, they're all into classical dance, but I have absolutely no idea what this is or why. You guys can tell me. Okay, just tell me that. But one thing I know, and this is very, very 100% sure, is that there is a brass plate, okay, with the feet on its edges, and they dance. Because once when I had gone to Brihadishwara temple, I remember this thing. There was a function there, and there was this girl who said that she's from Andhra Pradesh, from some big lineage, with classical dance, something. And then in Andhra Pradesh, we don't get chance to perform like this. So it is very good that in Tamil Nadu, we get to come and perform and keep the dance form alive. I remember hearing this thing. Okay. And the funny, I mean, the clear thing that I remember is that, they were dancing on a plate. Okay. And in fact, they keep something on their head also, right? Something along these lines. But this need not be your experience, but any basic book that you have read this will be the first thing that you read. Okay. So I know this is correct. I don't know that this is wrong. Okay. I also know that Maharis are chief repositories of this dance form. No, Maharis are for this one. That Odisha dance, whatever that is. Okay. They used to be in the temples, and from the temples they were taken to the courts, and in the courts then not only it was not like a divine thing that they were practicing, it was almost like entertainment. So it sort of resulted in the lower wala thing. So this is all I know. Now can I solve this? So I know 2 is part of the answer, so this has got to be wrong. 1 is wrong and 2 is right. That's all I know. 1 is wrong, 2 is right. Hey, how can this be right? 1 is wrong, 1 is wrong. Answer is B, 2 only. Should you understand this? I know that 1 is wrong. This is why you should mark it here. Do you understand what you have to do? You have to mark this here, no. And then this is correct. These 2 you don't know. So what could be the options that you're left with? Okay, it cannot be 1. That is it. In fact, I only know this. I don't even know this dancing on the brass plate. Still, I can get this answer right. Is this clear? So process of elimination, say you can solve a lot of questions that you thought that you cannot solve. So the focus is which is the one that you can say is definitely not part of the answer. That is what you want to try to get. And then you try to take a look at it. Is it attemptable or not attemptable? Generally, I don't go for 50-50. Okay, because I generally focus on accuracy. There are some who always go for 100, 90 plus, whatever it is. Now, it really depends. After your 30 tests, you know where exactly is your sort of number of attempts for what kind of a paper. Okay, and that is sort of useful because see, by personality, I'm very risk averse. I don't tend to take risk. I don't try to guess. I don't try to do those kinds of things. Okay, I'm like, what I know, I have to know it, and I have to show that. That is what I do, but that works for me because I know for sure my number of wrongs will be quite less in comparison to others because I revise a lot of times. Okay, so this is one. This is the last question, I guess. Just take a look at this. Do you guys know about affirmative action? If you know it, we'll do it. If we don't know, we'll not do it. Do you guys know about affirmative action? Just let me know with a yes or a no. No, okay. See, affirmative action is basically like how we have reservation in our country. It is called affirmative action in other countries. Okay, why do we have reservation? Affirmative action is there so that you can ensure that representation of certain groups, okay, whether it is OBC, SC, ST, women, that is in our country, right? In other countries, what could it be? Okay, so basically, does any of these things result in the representation? Increased representation in, let's say, services, basically employment and education, right? Employment and education. Okay, this kind of thing. And political also, right? For instance, in third tier, you still have the upliftment of certain groups. So if that is the case, opening a public hospital for the treatment of all, that does not necessarily help me in increasing representation of anybody. It is open for everybody. So I would not say this is the answer. Okay, reservation of seats. Of course, this is like the direct one. Granting of the right to profess, practice, propagation of one's religion. How does it help me in increasing my representation in employment, in education, in services, all of this? No. So basically, process of elimination, say you will get it. Now, just because you were not able to solve all three, okay, you can still get the answer like we got it here or how we got it here. Okay, so this is the whole thing. Okay, so just try to look. So next time in your next test, first thing you want to do is try to get this. Ye wrong hai, ye correct hai, and if you know this, put it. Otherwise, don't attempt this. And then take a look. I know one is incorrect and two is correct. Can I solve this? Even if I say one is not correct, so one cannot be part of the answer. Okay. Now, even if you let's say don't know the third one, okay, but you know for sure two is right. So only this can be your option, even if you didn't know this. Okay, so just because I knew the third one did not help me score more, you can still find. Okay, so just keep this as your method. So this is what you want to keep in mind while solving these questions. Most important thing, do not peek. Okay, especially when you're doing these papers online and all of this. Okay, do not cheat. Okay, even if you think, I just read it, I'm unable to recall, I'm going to go ahead and see. Okay, where exactly is Panna National Reserve, National Park? Okay, try to see, try to attempt. Okay, this is scoring here is not important. Okay, screwing up here is what is important. And telling yourself, if I did not know this, despite the fact that I've made notes of this entire 108 and revising it 50 times, 100 times, what have I learned? 50 plus 1. I have to do one more revision. Okay, always take something from this. Okay, and that way it is useful for all of you because you know all of you guys will still be in that competitive environment, and you know right now if I ask somebody, some people say that you know, but some people must have peaked or something like that. I don't know if I can compare. Okay, but use this 20 people, 23 people writing this test as a good competition for each of you and try to outdo the others. But again, I'm telling you, your competition is not within yourselves. Your competition is, okay, you're in a small pond. Okay, the ocean is still waiting for you. In the test, how many iterations do you go through? Okay, so gender. Okay, what is the answer to this? One time, two times, three times, four times. Did you understand the question? How many times do you go through the paper? You have, each of you may have your own method because there is nobody has told you anything, right? Okay, so see, one good thing is to do it three times. Generally in school, they'll tell you as soon as you get the question paper, go through the question paper once. Okay, chodo. Okay, that I suggest no need. Okay, if you're going through that paper and not solving, because it is going to take you a lot of time, you have to look at the option. Okay, whether to see whether the paper is easy, hard. It is not like means. Look, this is the topic, what all do you know, you'll think of it, that's it. But how do you do this? In round one, my suggestion is, okay, go through 100 and try to figure out, solve easy questions. In your first round, generally I get around 30. Okay, now this will be different depending upon the paper. I don't count. Okay, sometimes if the paper is very easy, it might be like some 50. Sometimes if the paper is very hard, it could be as low as 15. Okay, but let us say around 30 questions, it's like dirt, easy. Okay, I know this. Even if somebody has prepared only for a week, even they might be able to solve a lot of these things because you remember, right? 20 questions are easy in this entire paper, extremely super easy. Okay, it might be something like this. Solve that. Next round when you come, okay, in the first round also mark some questions as you know, to come back to. Okay, still solvable. Come and solve that in round two. No, before this, and then you mark or bubble. Get it done. I generally go, once I'm done with a particular question, I bubble it immediately. Okay, and there I'll tell you. Okay, bubbling, I have another slide on this. I'm not talking about bubbling. Okay, we're only talking about the fact that you're solving this. In the first round, solve all the easy questions. Second round, think more. Okay, and let us say you have marked 40 of these questions, okay, or 50 of these questions, whatever the number is. Okay, try and go and solve them. Maybe 40 of these questions you thought and you spent in, you know, a good amount of time and you were able to solve and bubble. Okay, you still have 10 more questions that you could possibly do. Plus how many kitna ho gaya? 30 plus 50 is 80. 80 may say 10. So you're 70, 70 plus 30 questions. 10 plus 30 are still pending. Okay, next round, what do? That 10 that you could not solve in your second question, you have to put a little more thought into it. And this is your final iteration. It is better you don't come back to these questions and randomly guess. If you can solve, maybe 5 you are able to solve, other 5 you're not able to solve. One last round may, you look at the questions that you felt are too difficult for you to attempt. Okay, see if you can attempt it, the last 30 questions or 20 questions or whatever the number is. Okay, if you can attempt, let us say 7, 8, whatever the number is, final attempt. Okay, but the ones you've already solved in your round 1, round 2, round 3, better you don't come back. Okay, you don't come back, because the next time you read the question, you will start overthinking. Do you ever feel this? My thing is, I should not read a question, should not come back to a question. Mine, okay, this is mine. You know why? If I've gone with an answer of B, I come back to it, I read it, I look at the solutions, sorry, the options, I can convince myself it is not B, and I'll convince myself it is D. And I also know that the first answer that strikes me is the right answer, generally for me. The first answer that comes to you, that is the right answer. You know what I'll think? Okay, nahi, Ganesh Vandana, oh, something, something. Arya, this question looks too easy for me. B is maybe they're tricking me. Okay, maybe there is a catch somewhere. So the easy question itself, I'll complicate it further and I'll make it something else. I don't want that. So I generally say, I don't want to come back. So as soon as I'm reading it, I want to solve it once and forever. Then I go to round 2, okay, and in the round 2, whatever I solve, I don't want to come back to it. And third time again, whatever it is, the final round, if I can get, and I don't even count the number of questions that I've attempted. I know what are the ones I can, I know the ones that I cannot, and if I can do this, I'm 100% sure I'll be in the top 1,000, 2,000. This is what I did. In terms of the number of iterations, is it very clear how to go about it? If you do the first round just to look at the entire paper, okay, and you're not attempting it, you're going to waste a lot of time. Reading a question takes you 30 seconds plus. Okay, and if you're not solving it immediately, then that round you're sort of wasting it. There is no point in thinking whether the paper is easy, hard, all of that does not necessarily help you. First round, solve all the easy. Second round, solve all the moderate. Final round, finally, what else can you solve? If you can solve it, great. After that, close. Okay, and try to do all of these things within 1 hour and 45 minutes. Okay, or 1 hour and 50, including bubbling. And do not leave bubbling to the end. Do not leave bubbling to the end. Why do you not leave bubbling to the end? I should have first made you answer. How do you guys currently do it? Is it after each question? Is it after each page? Is it after each round? Or is it after finishing the entire 3 rounds? What do you think is the right answer? First thing, how do you solve this? What is the process of elimination? Go with process of elimination, practice process of elimination. What is wrong? See, the best thing, I don't know what is the right answer. Okay, but this is definitely the wrong answer. Can I say this? Entire 3 rounds, and if you have to mark 90 of these things, generally what you do is that you could make small bubble mistakes. One mistake in question number 58, 59, 60, you marked here. Suddenly 58 was supposed to be a blank. You've not attempted. This entire thing in that, especially that long, that entire sheet, if one thing goes wrong, a lot could go wrong. 3 questions, how many marks is this if you get 3 questions wrong? How many marks are you behind if you just mess up 3 questions like this? Math guys, 8 marks, perfect. 8 marks with this thing. So definitely don't do this. My solution, my A is the answer for me. Okay, you can choose either A or B in my suggestion. I'll tell you why. When you're marking an answer, a bubble, okay, if it is, let us say, after 10 questions, somebody said, Danish, if you do it after 10 also, you tend to come back and read the question. If you've not reread the question today, in exam, you'll still check again. You know why? Because you're so careful. Am I sure that it is A? But you've already spent 1 minute, 2 minutes on it. Why come back? So once you're done, make it done and dusted. So my suggestion is to A or B. Okay, what I do, in case anybody wants to know, I always go with A. Okay, after each round and after the entire thing, okay, sometimes the time might be less. You have 10 questions. What do? Do you start bubbling or do you start solving these? And when you're bubbling, what if you go fast? What if you make a mistake? So the answer is better My suggestion is either do it A or after each page. Each page also is like really quick. You may not come and read the question again and waste unnecessary time. Okay, time will also be a problem. Okay, so just remember this. Okay, there are some tips that people generally give. Okay, and I think this is problematic, and I do not listen to these. Okay, people say that in SNT, generally the answers are all of the above. This is a horrible tip. Okay, do not go with this sort of universal wala this thing. Can I not make a paper in which most of the answers are not all of the above? Okay, can I say that in 2020, let us say this is true, in 2019 if you had done this, your score would be in the minus? Are you willing to take that risk? Unnecessary risk is, in my opinion, not warranted. It is unnecessary also. 3 wrongs could get you where? -8. Okay, it is a quick way to your downfall. Don't do that. Look at each question. Is it solvable? Is it easy? Is it my round 2 question? It is my round 3 question, or is it a question that I'm not going to be able to answer? Best. Some see in like in cricket, right? There are some balls you play, in some shots you just don't play, right? If it's a very good ball, you just try to defend. You just defend and move on to the next question. It does not mean you have to score in every single question. Okay, so look at the question by its own merit. And I swear to God, there are like so many of these things, but I'm not going to cover them because in case you don't know, I don't want to be the person exposing you to such horrible tips that are available in the market. Okay, so is this clear? To not, if anybody tells you some universal laws, aisa hi hota hai. Okay, please don't follow. There is nothing like that. Each question has to be solved at its own merit. Next one of the students, actually one of my, I think this is like some junior, he had come to me and he had told me, because he knew me. So he was like, you've been scoring like with such high score. Last year I missed by 2 marks or 2 questions. The year before that I missed by 2 questions. I used to be sitting next to you. Something, do you know me? Something he came and told me. And then I asked him, how many marks did you miss by? He said that I missed by 2 questions. So he's like, I almost got it right, because I know when I had gone into the exam paper, I already made up my mind that if the option mein Vijayanagar hai, so that is the answer. Vijayanagar is an important topic, so Vijayanagar agar question mein hai, I'm going to go for that. But in exam, I did not do it, and hence I did not clear. What kind of a horrible tip is this? Right? Don't think that Vijayanagar is an important topic. So if there is a particular question, if there is some irrigation that was used, it is from Vijayanagar only. Can I not make a question that is not Vijayanagar as the answer? Do not go for these. Okay. And I'm sure that some of you know these kind of strategies. Okay, please do not employ this. Look at it. Okay, do you know that irrigation method? Have you seen this as is it a Persian irrigation wheel? Is it something that was there in South India? Maybe the Cheras, Cholas, Pandyas, or let's say the Chalukyas or the Pallavas, something. Do you know it? If you know it, go for it. If you don't know it, do not go for it. Okay, these kinds of things, everybody will come out with like, at least some 6-7 wrongs they will have because they went with these kind of methods. I'm not kidding you. Okay, 6-7 wrongs you will have because they went with these methods. Okay, another option. None of the above is never the answer. You'll generally have options like A, B, C, and D. Okay, and they will have 2 statements. One statement, statement 2. It'll be like 1 is correct. Okay, 2 is correct. Okay, both and neither. Have you seen questions like this? Okay, they have this thing that none of the above is never the answer. Okay, I don't want to say anything negative about these kind of methods, but these are all things that people do. Okay, and that is why prelims becomes a lot harder. It is not supposed to be. What are you supposed to do? What did I tell you? Process of elimination. 1, no, it is not correct. 2, it is not correct. Okay, then forget nonsense like this. Okay, if this is the case, even if it is in 2-3 questions, does not necessarily matter. If you have eliminated it, then very clearly this is the answer. Go and bubble it. Do not think twice. Do not think twice. Okay, don't go for these sort of tips. Focusing on the pattern. This is another one. Okay, and this is somebody who told me this recently. He's like, I'm not very confident here. You know what they do? How can so many A's come together? Okay, 43rd cannot be A. I'm going for B, C, or D. I am going for B, C, or D. Okay, It does not matter in case if you talk about probability. Okay, anyways, I don't want to complicate this any more than that. But basically your 43 is independent of your 42. It is independent of your 41. It is independent of 37 till 42. Is that clear? It does not necessarily matter. Maybe you made a mistake here, or maybe you will have this sort of a pattern. What do you have to do? Go with process of elimination. If it is there, if this is right, and then answer is D. If the answer is this and this, your answer is C. Okay, whatever it is. If for some reason answer is always coming as D, it does not necessarily matter. You go with this. Do not try, reverse engineering these sort of things. Do not focus on all this nonsense during your exam. If anybody tells you all of these things also, please do not listen. Look at the question. The question is a ball. Okay, do you want to play the ball or not? That's it. You want to leave the ball or do you want to hit it? Right? That's it. You play at the merit of the question. That's it. Okay, and then so is that clear? I hope I have not given you such bad ideas. Right? Whenever there is a universal law that aisa hi hota hai, forget it. Do not take it. Okay, and that is probably why there are many people who will follow this and they will get 6 to 7 questions, minimum 6 to 7 questions wrong. Okay, minimum 6 to 7 questions. This is something that I mentioned. 2019 people had done this, and net it was a negative. Okay, it was negative for them. Even for questions they knew that the answer is, not all of the above. Okay, but it is universal law for them. Net if I put all, I will get positive marks. Horrible advice. Okay. Anyway, I'm not solving this because it's getting late and I'm also getting a little tired. Focusing on the patterns again, do not worry about all of these things. See, the whole point is this journey is not meant to be alone. You're not alone in this. Okay, we want you to succeed, right? We are there for a particular reason. We will have a few mentors, faculty members, myself included, and then we will all have, I don't know how many members are writing currently. I don't know the exact number of people who are currently writing and the number of people who are actually serious. But we will ensure that all of you have some sort of a mentor to talk to. Now, so what does a mentor do? So the mentor's major role is to ensure that you can follow that 58-day program. Why 58 days? Why do I keep saying 58? What's the 58th day from today?
Prelims, June 20s.
Yeah. Okay. So for instance, a mentor is going to be a person who will tell you, see, national parks is something that are generally asked, so it is okay to study. Okay. But suddenly, let us say that somebody is studying something that is totally irrelevant. For instance, let us say the flags of different countries. Okay. That is also same and equally difficult work. But is there any use to it? No. Okay. So the mentor can probably tell you what are the difficult things that still is worth it and still not worth it. Okay. So the mentor will probably help you in many ways. Okay. So the main thing is to ensure that with confidence you last these 58 days. Okay. Even if you score 20, even worse than I started with. Did anybody score in the 20s, or are you guys all too good? No, you guys are much better than I started. Good. You might be much better for a reason. Okay. It could be that you've actually gone through this entire 1 year of course, 6 months of coursework and all of that. So maybe it is because of that. But even if you're in 20, it does not necessarily matter. The whole point is, what can I learn from 20? If I have an 20 plus an A4 sheet plus revisions, okay, I'm equally as good as everybody else, right? I'm equally as good as everybody else. Okay. See, I don't think I have put in more number of hours for any of the prelims in comparison to the n number of people who fail prelims. In prelims, if you take general category, I've done the math for this thing. Okay, it is 1 out of 100. Okay, 1 out of 100 who register. So if you go to a school and one particular floor, it has to be like pretty much in that entire floor, you're number 1. Okay, or number 2. Now that is a lot of confidence that you need. I do not think that I would have ever had the number of hours. But what you do in these number of hours is what really matters. And I think I do that better. Okay, and I think that is where we will let you know how exactly to maximize the number of hours that you're putting in. There is no point in like putting in 300 hours but not necessarily getting the benefits of it. Okay, how often are you revising? Do you have your entire polity, that entire Lakshmikant in your fingertips? Are you getting to the point where it is 14 out of 15 questions consistently? Okay, and to get there, it is not going to be easy. 1, 2, 3 revisions I have done. No, everybody does 3 revisions. Okay, you're still going to score only 11 or 12 out of 15, and I'm going to get that extra 8. You are going to get that extra 8. Okay, so these kinds of things. Okay, so self-confidence, motivation, and also to help you understand your strengths and weakness. Okay, you have to understand your strength and weakness, and for this thing you have to be honest. Okay, it is your honesty. See, with anthro, I don't know, for some reason people never, I didn't feel that you guys would confide in me, you know, when the test was closed book. Sorry, when it was like, you were doing the online test, you always felt bad. You did not want to look bad in front of me. I don't know why exactly. I'm supposed to be the person who's going to help you get better. Let us say, and I use this analogy last time after Indian society test, right? So if there is, let us say, a 100-meter or 400-meter race, if I know that you are struggling in this final stretch, this is your 400 meters, okay? Unless I know you're struggling in the 400-meter stretch, I will not be able to help you here. Correct? So we have to understand what is the exact problem. So even if you get 20, come and say what exactly you have studied. Okay, I've not revised properly. Maybe I've not gotten the hold of the subject yet. So we will probably tell you, okay, 15 minutes per day for 10 days. Okay, go back to this thing. You revise your A4. Go back to your actual standard book. All these kinds of things. Okay, so we will help you in this kind of a thing. So you are not alone. The main thing is you're not alone. This is not a journey that you're alone. Okay, when it is alone is very difficult. Okay, because I have gone through this whole process alone. I did not have a mentor. I did not go to classes. I had to figure out, okay, by trial and error. But generally I had good study habits, and I focus on that. Right, study habits are sort of important. Study habits, consistency, plan, these are the things that will help you, not brilliance. Okay, I'm not brilliant. Okay, but I can outdo others. I can make plan, all of that. Right, I'll tell you, if it is my weakness, first thing, you guys know my weakness is I cannot write, for instance. Okay, I'm as good as illiterate when it comes to writing. You will not know which language it is. Okay, I can tell you other things. Memory is very weak. If it requires you to have 5 times revision, I might have to have 10 times, but I am honest with my assessment. I know that memory is weak. मुझसे नहीं हो पाएगा. Okay, I cannot, so I have to make up stories. There are certain tricks. Okay, I don't know if you guys know memory palace. Do you guys know about this? Or the number of things that I have done to, I've gained a lot in this journey. Like, people generally say study, study. They never tell you how to study. What are the good study habits? So these kinds of things will help you with. Okay, and when we talk about strength and weakness again, it is not only in the amount of content that you studied. It is not only in the score that you got today, but it is about your methods. What you do outside the, let us say 2 hours of test every 48 hours, approximately. It is not about what you do in those 2 hours. Okay, this is only 2 hours. This is your 46 hours. In fact, some of you might be, sleeping 4 hours. Aren't you sleeping 4 hours? But in case you're sleeping only 4 hours, trust me, memory is going to suffer. Okay, first thing I'll tell you is that add at least 2 hours. Okay, minimum. So these kinds of things. Okay, so sacrifice. You think that you're outworking somebody else. No, it has to be in the methods in which you study, even if you study less number of hours. Okay, I used to study only 2 to 3 hours. My working hours used to be somewhere around 9:30, 10. I know I had to go around 8:30, 8:45. Okay, and I used to have dinner there, and dinner was 9 to 10. 10 onwards, we'll have one call, and then come back home by 11. Okay, and most of my study used to be from 4 a.m. 4 a.m. till what? 7:38. That is all I used to have. Okay, and then okay, but that is not it. Okay, breakfast ke time mein, I'll read something on my phone. This is breakfast time. I had something for my lunch time. I had something for my evening time, and I had a little bit of reading during my dinner. That's it. Okay, and these things will be very short. What is this? Half an hour, 20 minutes, 10 minutes. Things like this. But these things, methods. This is what will help you, not the number of hours exactly. Okay, so we are with you. Okay, so don't worry. Okay, the whole idea here is you screw up today, you score 20, 30, it is great. Trust me, it is great, because that is so many more things you're going to learn. Okay, it is okay to look bad. Okay, somebody scored 100, I scored 20, does not matter. Okay, this person is going to have half A4 sheet, you're going to have one full A4 sheet. You're learning some more. Think of it like that. And because you feel bad, since you've not done well here, you will revise this 2-3 times more, or 20 times, depending upon whoever it is. Right? So you're only going to gain. So fail honestly, do not cheat and all of that. But that will help you be best in June 27th. Even if you're ranked number 1 in every single test from today all the way till test 30. Okay, but if it is not an honest one, okay, you're not honest with yourself, what will happen? You may not get there. But even if you look bad every single day, even if you're like, rank is like 12, 14, 23rd also in one particular test, does not matter. Provided what we tell you, you do, there is no way you're not going to clear this exam. So how do you plan the next X days? X equals 58. Always, whenever I ask you guys, you should know. Okay, you should have a countdown. Okay, you have a countdown. Do not think about the final test. Does not necessarily matter. Okay, what you have to do is just follow the plan for the next 58 days. Okay, I think at least for 51 days, there is a plan. I don't know when is the last test. I think it's on the Wednesday of the exam before. I took a look at it, but I don't know. Okay, 50 something days. Okay, try to focus on this and try to focus on what to do before a test. Okay, what to do during the test. Okay, what to do after the test. Okay, and talk to mentor. If you do this for the next so many days, even if you do this for 30 days, that is more than sufficient. Trust me, it is more than sufficient. You know nothing about ancient history, no problem whatsoever. You know nothing about modern India, no problem whatsoever. You don't even know that, you didn't even know environment is part of syllabus, no problem whatsoever. You can still make it. You can, trust me, you can still make it. So talk to your mentor. And finally, just a source of motivation. See, prelims is the easiest round. How many times have I said this in class? So many. Why so? Answers are given right in front of you. All you have to do is identify it. In mains, what happens? I will say something like urbanization challenges or smart city mission. That's it. Everything else has to come from you. Okay, and I'll give you some examples. We talked about this in Anthro, but let us say there is a very simple question, mutation, something like this, one particular question. In mains, all of you guys have an answer for 2 pages, 3 pages. How do you differentiate? So there are so many other things. What is the value addition? Am I going to use a box? Am I going to use a case study? Am I going to present better? Am I going to have a diagram? So many things that is there. Here, nothing. Absolutely nothing. Answer is there. Identify the answer. Okay, and here 4,000 people are going to be selected. I'm saying 4,000. Actually, the answer is around 8,000 to 10,000. Okay, but because general category, right? So I always, this is the number I have in my mind. Okay, so it's better you also keep this thing in your mind. Okay. Sometimes you could be, depending upon the test, you could be in the top 100 or you could be in the top 3,000. Does not necessarily matter. You're still going through. Okay, so prelims, think of it only as like attendance. After writing or preparing for 58 days, you have to show up. Okay, give your paper, give your attendance, and get hall ticket. That's it. That's it. You make it any more than this, it is going to be a problem. It is not some big deal. Is that clear?
We hope that you found this video to be useful. For any further guidance, please feel free to reach out to us. You'll find the details given below in the description. And finally, don't forget to subscribe. Also click on the bell icon for further notifications as well. If you found this video to be useful towards your preparation, if it added value to your preparation, please give it a like and also share it with your friends. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.